That's what I'm talking about. This is what I wanted to see.
Welcome back. Sorry I've been absent. We've been traveling a little bit. You never know what you're going to catch on the trail cam. Here's my son sumo wrestling the woodchuck. We stocked fathead minnows this spring to help enhance the forage base for the perch. Our pond clarity has always been really clear. More on that in a little bit, but right after the waterfall got going, we got some drone footage of how deep you could see down into the pond. We've been enjoying the waterfall and already making plans of how we can make it even better. But just as it is, this has just been a source of joy in all things. What is not a source of joy is our cattails, which have exploded, and so I'm going to wage war on those come this fall, but for now, we're going to stick a new section of dock in, and we needed to remove some of these mechanically just by wading in the water.
If I slip and fall on my face, you'll edit that part out, won't you?
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Cattails.
And what's a new nature adventure video without some underwater footage? Vegetation has exploded in our pond. And so I'm trying to take some stock of what all we got going on down there. And with my Picture This app that you would use to take pictures of vegetation or trees or leaves or whatever above the surface of the water, I've paused the video in a number of spots to try to identify what vegetation is growing down there. And if you're just joining, this is year 2. We are almost 2 years exactly from when the pond started to fill up. And this is the kind of vegetation growth that we have in just 2 years. One of the main pond management challenges is finding that right balance of enough vegetation but not too much. And I think I'm teetering on the verge of a little bit too much right now, considering chemical treatments or adding a couple grass carp. I know some of you, my loyal followers, have had luck with grass carp, and so maybe I'll explore that a little bit further. Because I don't want there to be too much cover for the fish to hide and get away from these walleyes that I want to grow up to be adult size faster. Over one of the spawning beds of pea gravel adjacent to the waterfall, I found these white dots, which appear to be red ear sunfish eggs. More on that in a bit. So I'm not a vegetation expert, but I'm trying to learn my pond vegetation. I got this Picture This app to take pictures of leaves that tell you what kind of tree it is. Well, I paused the video in a number of spots to take pictures of the vegetation growing in the pond. And what I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if you know based on these pictures, I've got some sago pondweed. I know I've got curly leaf pondweed, and this looks to be hornwort or coontail, or, depending on the picture in my app, horned pondweed. This for sure is coontail or hornwort right here. And this is directly underneath the waterfall where it spills over the falls and into the pond, stirring up all of the water and oxygenating it right here. So here are the red ear sunfish, and they are guarding this area by just swimming back and forth over top of these scattered white dots, which appear to be their eggs. Now, if anybody knows for sure, please leave me a note in the comments. But by keeping the water moving as they swim over top of the eggs, I think that keeps them from silting in and keeps them aerated until they hatch. Something that maybe I would have done differently from the beginning of the pond is build a permanent dock with footings out before the water filled up, but because we didn't, we are choosing to put in aluminum dock sections and grow it here one section at a time. And we added a 5-foot by 8-foot section here, kind of as an L on the end of the dock. And yet again, we find another use for this pedal boat that has just been the utility vehicle.
I got my side.
Okay. Aside from being a little bit spendy, these aluminum dock sections are really handy and make for a good retrofit option and are easy to work with. Alright. Yeah, so after a little bit of leveling and got our new dock section, put us out even further. Now there's a little bit more space for the bluegills to hide underneath the dock and find some shade, and so I set out to try to land one of these bigger fish.
Ooh, this one feels better. It's in the weeds now. It's a weed walleye. Tip to tail. Gonna go. Just over 11 on this guy. It's good. What's up? This feels like a bluegill. A big bluegill.
Looked like one too for a second.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's
This
spicy.
is what I wanted to see, guys. Holy. Yeah, that's what I wanted on film. Goodness. Knew we had some of these in here. Oh, so fat.
In other projects, I accidentally deleted all of the footage of me putting this together, but here I wanted to reduce our 15-inch corrugated pipe down to a 4-inch and run this drainage tile all the way down to the bottom to contain the water so that it doesn't erode the backside of the dam. It's not a complete seal, so I've got a little bit of work left here to do.
Okay, so we got a little problem with the aerator. I don't think I'm getting enough pressure to run any of the diffusers. And so it's time to do a little aerator maintenance. Doesn't quite sound great.
And upon further inspection, it needed a little bit more work than I originally thought, so I took the opportunity to clean it up.
Alright, since the mice chewed through our original air lines, I took the opportunity to replace the 3/8 inch inner diameter air hoses so that they're not all chewed up. Alright, so after I got the two rocking pistons, whatever you call these guys, I'm going to change out that O-ring and change out this gasket around here, and we got all new components. But what I also found here is, because we had mice nesting inside the housing of this, it's all dirty, so I'm gonna get all of this out of here. Just gonna clean that all out now that I have it opened up, and gonna make, I think, a huge difference. Oh my goodness, guys, she is purring like a champ. New hoses, clean air filter. Yeah. Oh man, a little bit of maintenance. She's back purring again.
And just in time too, because it seems like the pond is detoxifying and all of the sludge is rising to the surface and floating over into this corner. Gross.
I need one of those airboats they use in the Everglades. Alright, these muckaway tablets.
Muckaway is a product that you use in the shallows to break down all of that nasty sludge. It's used best with beneficial bacteria to really help cleanse your pond.
Added some more phosphate binder right down here. Try to neutralize all of the nutrients. Alright, so I picked a couple of the floaties off the top that aren't doing so good. We'll start off with them. That's a perfect size shiner to get eaten. Ooh, that perch. Haha, that was cool. Ha, got him. This little smallmouth is a savage. Look at the belly on that thing. He's got probably, I don't know, probably got 6 or 8 big minnows in there, shiners.
So I wanted to start doing some relative weight samples of the fish in our pond, and so this is the beginning.
7.5 inches at 7 ounces.
So I've built out this chart of all of the different species that are in our pond or that I want to have in our pond, based on a bunch of research that I've done and cross-referencing it across other resources online, so that I could have it all in one spot. And that bluegill was 0.4375 pounds, which is above the average relative weight, so that's a great thing. If this interests you and you would like a copy of this, go ahead and send me an email at the email address here, and I'll just gladly send it over to you as a thanks for watching and subscribing and liking our videos.
That's a good toad. 7.5 inches, 6 ounces. Oh my goodness. Look at this bluegill. That is a beast. Tail, 9 inches, 12 1/8. That's a nice fish.
And so this fish, based on the relative weight chart, is about 122%. And that would be considered borderline obese, which is a great thing if you're trying to grow fish.
Down and pop. Yes. Okay. Okay. 8 inches, 3 1/4 ounces. And it's got a minnow tail hanging out of its mouth. Another little smallmouth. And this guy, is probably just...
And we'll close this video out with some sights and sounds from the waterfall. We've got the landscape lights in and installed. Creates an ambiance in the evening. This has really become a centerpiece and a focal of the backyard. We just love sitting on the patio, listening to the sounds, and just being thankful for all of God's blessings. I'm thankful for you guys for watching, and I have a simple ask. Would you leave a comment about what you would like to see next on the pond? I'm open to ideas and will appreciate your input. So until next time, guys, God bless.